What is up, everybody? It's the Inhuman one here with part 2 of the ultimate 100% guide for Wuchang Fallen Feathers. As I stated in the previous video, this guide is going to show you how to get everything in a single playthrough and also obtain the Platinum Trophy if you're on PlayStation 5 and 100% of the achievements for all other platforms. One thing that I did want to mention is in the previous episode, we did exit the intro and we completed the introduction and we got all the way through Leenzee Temple. In this episode, we're going to be going to Shoe Sanctum and defeating the first boss. Depending on the amount of time it takes for us to get there, we can break up that Shoe Sanctum section into two separate parts because there are two main bosses in that area. So depending on timing, we'll kind of play by ear there. But without further ado, what we're going to be going ahead and doing is we'll be facing off with, well, actually, we've already faced off with the boss, so we're going to be heading over here, facing off with the locked door instead. We're going to use the Leenzee Temple key, and we'll be opening this door right here. We're going to be introduced to a new type of little collectible called a bamboozler. Little things, kind of like crystal lizards, if you will. And before we run off and actually rush that enemy and defeat it to collect the bamboo shoot that it gives us, I did want to circle around and show you that was the very beginning of the game. We're going to be connecting the world together. I love level design. I'm a huge fan of it. And level design in Wuchang Fallen Feathers is incredible. The way that it connects this massive world is just absolutely stunning. So that is the very beginning where we spoke with Leenzee, just paces away from the actual Reverend Temple exit. So anyways, we're going to be heading this way. And remember, keep an eye out for little noises, kind of sound like little squeaking noises. That's going to be the bamboozler. You can lock onto them as soon as they kind of come out of the ground, when they emerge from underneath the ground. When they start running, they'll run for only a few seconds until they go ahead and go back underground. When they begin going back underground, that animation is going to make them invincible and they will no longer be able to be killed. Once they are killed, however, they're going to drop what they call a bamboo shoot, which is a special kind of currency that you can use with an NPC we're going to be meeting here in a little bit. But it's this very special and rare currency. There are only 20 bamboozlers in the game, but many more bamboo shoots you can obtain. They are tied to an achievement, so you do need to get and defeat 20 bamboozlers in a single playthrough in order to get the achievement or trophy. So we're going to drop down from this log here. Just be very careful. Carefully traverse up this log as well, and now you're good to go. We got the budding red mercury as a reward for our exploratory nature. So we're going to speak with this friendly NPC here. His name is Bai Wuchang. He is going to give us a bone whistle, which is an item that allows us to summon bosses or summon NPCs into boss fights. So in the event you're struggling with a certain boss, sometimes many of the bosses actually allow you to use the bone whistle and summon help. So you can summon an ally, and if you've completed certain parts of the questline, they can actually help you in defeating the boss. So let's go ahead and speak with him so we can get some more information and also obtain the bone whistle.
Judging by your attire, I'm Leenzee. I grew up here. So
we're going to ask about news from nearby.
Inside that house over a few days ago. Since when do monks, if it wasn't for the
He's going to mention that there is a child with a jar on his head just in the home up the way, and we're actually going to be interacting with that NPC as well.
With your skills,
Agree to help.
excellent. Oh, if you ever find yourself,
And we're going to get the well-met gesture as well as the bone whistle. It gives us a tutorial on how to use it, but it's just an item. It's not a consumable that you can use only one time. You can use it repeatedly. And so if you're in trouble, you can go ahead and actually blow the whistle in certain boss fights so you can get assistance. There's a main pathway up here. It's going to take you directly to Shoe Sanctum, but we're not going to do that yet because we would miss it on all these goodies. So we're going to come this way. We're going to run up and open this door here. And you can see all of these jars near the house. All of these jars here. It's kind of used to like pickle like fruits, vegetables and things like that. Let's take a look and see how else they're used. So red mercury sprout, and then if we talk to the child in the jar, he kind of makes that weird sound. Remember that there was an item we obtained in Leenzee Temple in the courtyard near the that fake monk and the little imp, and we picked up the dough figurine of Mu Ying. So we're actually going to hand it over. It is a quest item like I explicitly stated in the last episode. And we're going to give him that item. He's going to give us the draw circle gesture. There are puzzles in the game that require you to use gestures, and I'll show you how to activate each one of those. But what we're going to do for now is finish that conversation, run up the steps. We're going to run in here, in this house, rush this enemy to the left, get behind him, and initiate a charge R2 for the backstab. He's pretty tanky, so if you don't do that, you're going to be in trouble. This guy, however, has the standard health, and he'll die in 2 hits. Alright, so we're going to go here and grab the Raven Pill, and then head out the door. Alright, now from here we're going to be heading over onto this little ramp, and we're going to grab the item here on the rooftop. We're going to retrace our steps across this pathway, and then we're going to run up these steps to grab this item. This is, again, the most effective and efficient path. So many winding pathways in this game, but I will always show you the most efficient and effective paths. So there you go. We're going to take him out as well, and then if we want, we can take out this guy that's kind of just running around. There isn't any item around here, but I really am thorough with my kills. I like to clear out an area entirely. No items here for us, but we do get the kill, so that's good enough for me. Alright, so once we come down the steps, there's going to be a bridge. It's going to take us to another area, or we can come up here. I say we come this way because it's actually a dead end. If you've been listening to some of the NPC dialogue and all that, they're going to reference that there's a passage called Doom Willow Beach, which is where we're headed, and that it's blocked off. So we're headed towards the main pathway to Doom Willow Beach. Now, as I said, a lot of times the third hit of the combo can kill the bird. If not, you can always use your daggers. So kill the cuckoo there, and we're going to run this way. We're going to take out these enemies here. And we're going to run inside. This is about as dark as the game gets, but you'll never be in a stretch longer than this that's dark, so never a need for that bamboo lantern. But there aren't any items tucked away until you get all the way to this last tree here. This tree at the very end is going to have an item for us. And this is going to be another one of the benedictions. So remember, the benedictions are the socketable items. Each of them are going to have kind of boons and benefits for us. This one in particular is called Skyborn Magic, so just so you get an idea of how they work. If you go over to your benedictions, you are going to see that this increases your spell damage if you have stacks of Skyborn Might. So there's always some sort of like benefit to socketing them, and they usually have some really nice synergies. Remember, you can't socket them unless you're at the shrine though. So what we can do, and what we can add to our repertoire though, is the spell we obtained from Dutanga. The Echo of Dutanga is a spell that pretty much conjures like what they call a spade. It's like a big spear pretty much, and you just swing it around, and it has fire damage. Also can stun an enemy if you hit them from the back. So you can start up and obliterate just by simply hitting an enemy in the back with this. So it does have a little bit of a wind up, but it's very, very powerful, and I used it during the entirety of my first playthrough for the most part. So the echoes are going to be boss spells that you obtain from defeating bosses. So any echo spell is going to be rewarded from defeating a boss. There are other types of spells, like Vorpal Blade, for example, that are just obtained in the wild, if you will, or purchased. But echo spells are specifically those that did belong to bosses, but when you defeat them, you now get the ability to use it. So remember, if you want to toggle between spells, you can press left on the D-pad. So we're toggling between Vorpal Blade and Echo of Dutanga there. It's an excellent spell, does tons of damage, and once you get used to the timing, you can incorporate it into your combos really nicely. So we're going to return back the way we came, and if you have a keen ear, you're going to see that we have another cuckoo. I suggest getting the cuckoo from this angle, because if you don't, you do have an opportunity to miss it. So what we're going to do is, as we run up the stairs, if we're paying attention, you're going to hear another bamboozler. So we're going to go ahead and begin our sprint. lock on as soon as he emerges from the ground, and do a running R1 to get that additional speed to kill the second bamboozler, and that is going to give us another bamboo shoot. We can see someone talking here, just kind of going through, very poetic. This is the storyteller NPC. He's actually pivotal for a certain number of endings, so we're going to speak with him once he's done chatting. And essentially he's afraid, he's thinking we're going to eat him because many of the people suffering from feathering have an appetite and a taste for human flesh. So we're going to skip all this, say, who are you? And he's like, hey, I'm just an old guy telling stories. Once we speak with him a second time, he's going to give us a bamboo shoot, which gives us our third bamboo shoot. And this is again currency for a unique NPC we're going to meet in just a few seconds, actually. So now he's like, yeah, you're broke. I'm not going to finish my story. I told you enough. And go ahead and go back from whence you came. I'm going to take a nap. So we're going to go up this set of stairs here. There's nothing in that little area. Which it's all empty, by the way. But we're going to come here and we're going to see the panda NPC. The panda NPC is the one that, of course, uses the currency that we just obtained, which is the bamboo shoot. So here he does always sell unique items. There's only one item he sells in his entire inventory that is something you can purchase or obtain from another method, either at the shrine or in the wild. Once we get to the next shrines, I'll show you a new method of how to obtain items. That's like a way to use madness as currency. We talked about madness a little bit. We're going to be going over it in more detail in this episode. So you can get the steam-powered spear. Again, the spear is an incredible weapon type. Synergizes with and scales off strength and agility, similar to the longsword. And then here you get a divine ward spell. This spell actually just reduces the damage you take over time. So it just gives you a little bit more damage mitigation. You can choose to purchase either of these things. I would suggest getting the weapons because the weapons are tied to an achievement. These spells are as well, actually. So prioritize whatever you like to use if you're going for a magic build or more weapons. His shop will always remain available, so you can kind of just pick and kind of go accordingly. Once you leave the cave, make an immediate right and go up this long set of stairs. So as I mentioned, and to make it clear, the weapons are tied to achievements, as are the spells. Circle around this house and we're going to grab this item right here. It's a raven pill. Raven pills are another type of consumable. There are so many consumables in this game, but this one in particular restores a small amount of HP. This is more so designed that if you're short on mana basis because you've been exploring a long stretch, you're going to be able to use other types of heals. This door's going to be locked for now, so we're going to come around and open up that shortcut a little bit later, actually. But for now, we're going to return and go back to the main path near Leenzee. That was the first NPC with the bamboo or straw hat that we had talked with. It was a straw hat, actually. So we're going to be going that way. Speaking with that old gentleman. We've already chatted with him, though, and then remember the staircase that he was in front of. We're going to be making a right back. So there's Leenzee. We're going to be making a right and going up this main staircase. You can read the lore here. Pretty much just talking about the elixirs that the Taoists were making that were apparently supposed to help people. Doesn't look like they worked out too well, though, does it? Speak to the NPC in this house here.
You'd be wiser.
And he'll give you some goodies. So another raven pill for us. And then we're going to go here and grab the divination crescent. And take out this enemy because he's getting a little close. But the divination crescents are essentially items that allow you to keep track of where you're going and where you need to go. So you can, they're markers, if you will. If you ever see them in the wild, they actually indicate invisible passageways. So instead of things like illusory doors, there's going to be invisible bridges throughout this game. And we'll show you each and every one of them, but they are going to be marked by divination crescents that the game devs have already provided for you. So if you're looking out, if you have a good eye, you're going to be able to see these things and pretty much find even more secrets and everything possible in the game. So you're in the right place. You're in the right place. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to be meeting a fork in the road. If you go left, you're going to have a more direct path to the Shu Sanctum, but at the same time you have a more difficult fight. If you die, you're sent all the way back to Light Zen Temple, right? So we want to make and take a more safe path. Instead, we're going to go this way, and we're going to be taking out everybody here. So there's that enemy there, the enemy that stumbled along our way, and this guy. So let's go ahead and take him out first. I like to clear out the enemies to make sure I can actually explore safely. And we're going to come up the path that was right up here. So this main staircase. We can chat with the NPC. And she doesn't actually give us anything. She just gives us a hard time, really. And quit knocking on my door. And we're going to go up this staircase. We can rush this enemy. There isn't an ambush, believe it or not. Nobody's going to attack us from this angle, fortunately. And we can grab this right here, which is the Raven Pill. So you see a lot of combat and enemies fighting. Sometimes the feathered enemies will face off with the more humanoid enemies. So those that haven't succumbed to the feathering yet are going to attack those that have. So there's a lot of infighting and things like that in the game. So you'll see that all throughout. So here we have just a big open area. You would think that would be a mimic base, but it's not. And I'm glad it isn't. Because don't worry, we have one coming up. Grab the steam bunny buns, and then we're going to come down the steps, and we're going to take out the enemy to the left that's not facing us, so we can do a nice little backstab if we want. Take him out there. Good to go. Alright, so you might be seeing there's an item there, but you don't want to go for it immediately. Instead, as soon as you get close to it, you want to go ahead and tap the circle button so that you can avoid the ambush. Get the red mercury, go inside here and open up the chest. We're going to get the Wei Counter Force Benediction. So this one's going to essentially increase the damage after a counter or during counter, so those are always really nice. Again, all of these things are quite beneficial depending on your playstyle. So believe it or not, there's not too many items stuck behind vases. That you'll see that very rarely. Most of the time items are going to be kind of in between the vases, not actually inside of them. So you don't have to break every crate, but trust me, as an old, Souls-like veteran, it's just something I love to do. It's so satisfying. So grab the flying daggers, rush this enemy here, and then down this staircase. It's a dead end, so there aren't any items down there. This is overlooking the area that we were just at. So we were just up this staircase right here, looking down. The enemies were fighting down here. That's why you see broken vases and dead enemies here. We're going to pick up this item, which is going to give us another Raven Pill, and then we're going to circle around. We've got a shielded enemy, so we know that we can use a charged R2. Or if we ever wanted to, we could switch to our axe and do even more damage, right? Nothing crazy. Obviously, we could move forward and take out the cuckoo and all of that, but take notice of this passage here. And here we want to trigger the mimic jar, as I call it, or demon jar. So she'll come. She's just acting dumb right now, but don't you worry. Don't fight her in her element. As soon as she comes out from that corner, we'll shoot her with our Vorpal Blade. She's just being silly right now. She got us in her snares. Alright. And as soon as she does something, there you go, we'll make our move. So a lot of times she'll back away, she repositions so that she can shoot you with the projectile, but if not, you can go for the attack and then circle around her. Do not go and rush her here. It's way too close quarters, and it's just an invitation to take a lot of damage. So we did get a faint red feather among other items from her. They always drop like 3 items, including a feather, based on your level. So based on where you're at in the progression of the game, really. So right now we're just using the faint red feathers for leveling, and that's what she's going to be giving us. We're going to grab this item here, which is the Crimson Lantern Fruit, and then we can switch over to our Flying Dagger and take out the cuckoo. This door is locked for now. It's going to serve as another shortcut in due time. But for now, we need to go ahead and go enter this area. The tutorial there is just talking about how sometimes the compass in the bottom right hand corner can let you know that there's shrines around. So red arrows indicate shrines, and then yellow arrows indicate NPCs that want to talk. But because there's multiple levels, like there's 2 or 3 stories, it can get really confusing. So all in all, I mean, you can use it as in general, but if not, just listen to kind of where I guide you to go, and you'll always interact with every NPC possible. So first things first, let's go ahead and activate the shrine. When we activate this shrine here, this is Shu Sanctum. Shu Sanctum is going to be the area that is going to serve as the hub for the majority of the game until we get a new hub area. So this is a really, really fun area. Go ahead and enter the dream. Entering the dream progresses the storyline, so any NPCs that you have spoken to already are going to advance their stories and move to this area. So now we're going to have Leenzee Chang right next to us. We do have some or enough red mercury essence to level, so let's see. Looks like we get an additional level, so we get a red mercury essence point we can use for whatever we want. So if we want, we can start working towards the axe, or even now we could bump up even more for the longsword. Because we have the deflection and the parry, I say we start giving our axe a little bit of love, so we're going to be going here. And eventually we'll be going into the stats and all of that too. We do want to increase our Skyborn Might stacks as much as possible. And remember, there isn't any mistake you've made if you accidentally invested into one thing. If you don't like it, you can simply respec. So don't ever forget you can do that by just simply pressing square if you're playing PlayStation, by the way. But anyway, so we're good to go there. What we're going to do now is we can speak with some of the NPCs and we're going to fight another boss. So he says, hey, call me and I'll be at your beck and call. There will be many instances where we use the bone whistle, and I'll always tell you if you can or cannot, but a lot of times it's just not necessary. I do think it's great to have them because they're I'd say the allies you summon are really good at pulling aggro, but sometimes they can get in the way. And when the enemy is so focused on them, it can be a little tricky. But I do prefer fighting alone, but you're more than welcome to summon allies, and it's a great help, honestly. Speak to Wukong here, and we're going to hand over the Golden Bowl. We picked this up in the area right across from Dutanga's boss area and the Light Zen Temple. So handing this over is going to expand his inventory. So Wukong is going to act as a merchant for us, one of two merchants, and he can sell all kinds of things. So if you miss the halberd, he can sell the halberd. We're going to get these for free, but he sells these as well for us. And then, of course, he sells all of the enemy loot drops that are in the area. So in this area, we can get the golden bandit set or the fake monk set. You can even get the dazzling fake monk set. So any one of the enemies, you can get their drops. And every time you provide him with his associated quest item, it's going to expand the inventory and allow you to purchase those particular items. So aside from that, of course, you get your resistance kind of items and your flying daggers. And he also is going to sell us some additional benedictions that we're going to be getting. The benedictions are not tied to any achievement, so don't be too concerned about getting those. But anyways, that's how Wukong works, as well as his inventory and how to expand it. So there you go. This is Huangjian Yi. We're going to speak with her, and she is going to give us the Zhenwu hairpin. The hairpin is the headpiece of the Zhenwu set. So there's only one part that she's given us. There are two ways to obtain the rest of her set, and one is I'd say the intended outcome, and then you have an alternate outcome that most NPCs have where they become hostile. And you still get the rewards actually, and sometimes you get different rewards, but we'll always be doing the intended outcome. I will show you and instruct you every time what would happen if you do the alternate outcome and how to even achieve that if you want. So we're going to speak with Tao Ching. This is the individual that we met over at the Reverent Temple. We can hand over the copper jug, which is what we got from defeating Dutanga. He's going to give us a little bit of lore about it, and then we can now buy Dutanga's boss set. So his armor is the mask, robes, and the prayer beads. So that's kind of how he works. If we didn't speak with Hey Jose for whatever reason, he would also sell us the bamboo lantern. So alright, so even though we do give him the item, that just opens up the inventory, and then we now have the responsibility of essentially, purchasing it with red mercury, but at least we have the opportunity to do so. So now this is the other kind of the main entrance. This is where a lot of people would have come in from, but we're coming from another angle so that we can be a little bit more safe. And now that we've rested at the shrine, if we die to any elite enemies, we just respawn here at the main hub. Exit the area and then go ahead and turn left. We're going to grab this item up here. We're going to Grab this here as well. And then I do want to show you that this is just the other side of the Shu Sanctum, where the shrine is just right beyond, right? So that's Leenzee Wuchang right there. What we're going to do is, before we set out on this little pathway here, we're going to take on an enemy just right up here, clear out this little area, and I'm going to pull together the world for you guys so you can see the level design, and then we're going to return back to the Shu Sanctum. There are several other NPCs we can chat with inside there, and we're going to go ahead and complete their dialogues, and I'll actually fight a boss as well. So this is one side of the, the main exit, but on the other side, there's going to be an item right on the other side of this tree here. So we can grab that and get a steamed bunny bun. We're going to come down this first set of steps and make a hard left. This here, if you actually check it, it says pay your respects in blue. This immediately indicates, if you see a blue kind of aura here by something you can inspect or check, that's a gesture puzzle. So go into and tap your, kind of like the face button of the PlayStation controller with pretty much the that large touchpad, and then you're going to do worship. The worship gesture will, once it's completed, trigger unique dialogue and then give you an item. We'll talk about the item we're going to get in just a moment though. Alright, so we got a divine gift. The divine gift is a way you can reduce your overall madness. It's one of the few ways you can do it. So I'm going to try and pull it up for you guys. Divine gift is right here. So divine gifts can be used at certain statues. I'll show you where they are and which ones you can use to reduce your madness. The only other way to reduce your madness in general is to defeat your inner demon if it's manifested. So as I stated in the first episode, if your inner demon meter comes up, it will increase by either killing human enemies or by dying. If your meter gets high enough, if you die, an inner demon will manifest where you last died. So essentially your red mercury essence will be guarded by the inner demon, and once you defeat it, it'll go ahead and drop your madness down back to 0. So that's one way to reduce your madness, and then the other way would be divine gifts or divine fragments, which are just, you have to use, a number of those to reduce it as much. But those are all quite rare items. Honestly, running around with max madness is ideal because you're going to get a little bit more power and even more resistances across the board. So at the highest inner demon or max inner demon level, your resistances are going to come up by like plus 30 across the board, but you'll take more physical damage and things like that. At the same time, you're dealing more damage. So, and you also kind of look cool because you get red glowing eyes. So, it's a trade-off. But anyways, we're going to continue down here. You can see there's a little ladder here and other pathways we're going to take in due time, but we're not going to do that yet. Instead, we're going to grab this item, and then we're going to aggro that enemy. He is a Ming soldier, but he's a red-eyed variant, which is a stronger variant. So we're going to be very careful to take him out. We can rush him, or we can even use our tempering if you like. He is an enemy in armor, so if we had any kind of lightning skills, that would be ideal because it deals the most damage to those enemies. If the enemies are wooden or flesh or undead, then fire tends to deal a lot more damage. So in general, fire is a great way to go, but we can definitely use this because why not? And we can go for the charged R2 to get a backstab. If you went the other way, you're definitely not going to get a backstab. So there is a corruption pool there, so just be careful with that. Watch his flurry. He can get pretty scary here. Watch the back. He's just like the other guy we fought earlier, so. Alright, so now we took him out. By defeating any red-eyed enemy, you're always going to get what they call red mercury essence, and typically you'll get an upgrade material, so a feather of that associated level. So, but if not, then sometimes you get something even better, which could be armor. So we just picked up the Ming armor, which has pretty good physical damage mitigation, but not so much in terms of the resistances. So it's a cool armor. You can use it. You can equip it if you want, and this is what it looks like. But in general, you are going to want to go for something that's a little bit more well-rounded, and I'd say the resistances tend to be a little bit more important. So anyway, so now that we have that, I'm going to show you the rest of this area. You could go right, as I noted before, those are divination crescents, and that, of course, is a invisible bridge. So what we're going to do is come this way, and this is going to hopefully tie everything together for you. That was the area where the guy that stumbled up across us, this is the individual that we spoke to that gave us the Raven pill, and then we grabbed the other item here, and then we ended up going right. So now we've come full circle, right? We've come full circle. So instead what we're going to do is we're going to return back to Shu Sanctum, and we're going to complete the rest of the dialogue with all of our little friends and the NPCs in Shu Sanctum, and then we're going to defeat another boss. So if you want, and if you're feeling like you need to, I would suggest going ahead and entering the dream, resting here. That way you can re-up your temperance that we just used on that particular enemy. And then we're going to go upstairs as soon as it loads. If you notice, you might see gray smoke here. The gray smoke is actually pretty interesting because that indicates your level of madness. If the smoke is red, that means you now have a much higher madness. So even just in the loading screen, you're going to see that. So you can read some lore here. And then if you want, if you come up this ladder, you can see even more lore that kind of indicates what the cuckoos are. And interestingly enough though, this painting or nothing like that changes even if you defeated all of the cuckoos. There are no achievements or platinum trophies, or I'm sorry, trophies attached to the cuckoos either, so you don't have to worry if you miss any, but in this guide you won't miss one at all. You're gonna get every single one. I'll show you where every single one is. We're gonna speak with her in just a moment, but let's go ahead and speak with this old man first. Everyone seems to be sleeping, so we're gonna speak with him. He is known as the White-Robed Elder. He pretty much just threatens us and says, hey, I notice you're feathering. If you get a little bit too crazy, I will end you. And he gives us Plumed Branch, which happens to actually increase our madness anyway, so okay. Thank you, old man. We get another divine gift here. Typically, you only get divine fragments, so divine gifts are incredibly rare. And that statue in front of us is going to be one of the statues where you can actually trade in and offer divine gifts or fragments to reduce your badness. There's several of these throughout the game, but typically this is going to be one of the ones you can go to just very easily. Easy access. So we can speak with this old woman. Her name is Chao Ying. She is Chao Ling's mother. So Chao Lin. Chao Lin is the individual at Reverend Temple that was on his back, and he said, hey, here's the Peachwood Amulet. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we give her the Peachwood Amulet, which we already did, and she gives us the divine gift, so we have another one. So we go ahead and exhaust the dialogue with her, and then you can kind of take a look around. So eventually this is going to be a shortcut. When you see trees like this with those kind of vines and roots at the bottom, those can be knocked down from the correct side, and they can create like makeshift bridges. So this is just the other side of the kind of second floor and the balcony. There's nothing much to it. If you go around, this is the old man, and then of course this is the other side of it, the front, facing towards the enemy we just defeated not too long ago. So just putting the world together for you guys. I love drawing the, you know, kind of putting everything together in terms of the level design. Just so much fun for me to figure out. But anyways, there's a little bit more lore, and then we, you know, obviously we've exhausted her dialogue already. She is tied to Chao Lin, which is her son, and she is talking about a new item called White Jade Dumplings. Those are drops you can get from bosses. You do not want to consume them. I'll always make sure I indicate which enemy drops those or which bosses drop those and when it's appropriate to give it to her. So here we can go ahead and give, grab this item here, which is the Purple Camellia. Purple Camellia is going to be an item that you can use to reduce your poison if you get afflicted with it. And we're going to be needing plenty of those. So let's go ahead and pick up this lore item here. This is a bloodstained letter. This is a quest item that we're going to give to someone at the Reverend Temple. And when we give it to them, it's going to progress their quest line a little bit. So we have the bloodstained letter here that was written by someone called Hong Lan. If you aren't already aware, Hong Lan as a boss we'll be facing off with that is pretty much what everybody considers the skill check. But I'll kind of teach you a new perspective on how to look at her. It's more of a knowledge check, and I'll explain the difference. But anyways, what we're going to be doing is we're going to go upstairs, and we're going to be entering this boss arena. This is the pretty much the feathered priest. So we're going to be activating our temper right there. We're going to be skipping the cutscene, and we'll be facing off with this boss here. he telegraphs really well, so here he's going to be throwing a spear. When it lights up like that, that's when it indicates to dodge. Same thing with his staff. When he does both of those attacks, we can go ahead and go for the backstab and punish. Again, he doesn't really like fire too much, so we can do tons of damage for him here. You can dodge the projectiles when he fires them off, and then when he stomps on the ground, he's just gonna... You can casually strafe to dodge those. Watch for the blink. Watch for the blink. Go for the backstab. If we don't get it, that's okay. When you hear that noise, that's a grab attempt. So strafe to the side when he approaches you, go for the backstab, and then punish the backstab here. He's on fire again. We can use our weapon ability, and that is the Feathered Priest down in just a few moments. So we get the Vitality, Ferocity, Benediction. We get the Shoe Sanctum Key, Mercurial Blood, which is a quest item, the Priest's Broken Cane, which is something we can give to Tao Ching, and the Echo of Lu Bingjiang, which is his spell. So that's an echo spell for that particular boss. So now that we've defeated that boss, we're going to head down here, and we can actually progress some quest lines. We also got a nice chunk of XP, or Red Mercury Essence, so that's wonderful. We're going to make our way down the steps. She won't have anything to say just yet. She will actually progress her quest a little bit later on. There's a second boss in this area that is going to give us the White Jade Dumpling, but we're not going to get to that just yet. Instead, we're going to come over here. We're going to speak with Leenzee Wuchang and give him the Red Mercurial Blood.
Oh, ma'am. I'm relieved to see you unharmed. Did you manage to find anything?
So hand over the Mercurial Blood.
This thing looks... I must return to...
He's going to give us some Soft Rush, which helps with the stamina regen. And he said he's going to Reverent Temple. If you listen to the NPCs, they will tell you where they're going, okay? So listen to them when they talk. It's by design, guys, I promise. Speak to Tao Ching. We're going to hand over the Priest's Broken Cane, and this will expand his inventory. He is going to sell the Clerical set, which is the pretty much the Feathered Priest set here, and also the Bone Whistle in the event you missed it. Now, one thing that I didn't share is that you can actually summon Leenzee Wuchang in that fight, and I apologize for not sharing that ahead of time. I'll do that before the boss fights from this point forward, but as you saw, we beat it in about 30 seconds, so it's truly not needed. But if you do want to summon Leenzee Wuchang, you certainly can, and that'll be a quick and easy way to go ahead and get even a faster defeat or victory on that particular boss. So this set is going to be something we want to purchase. We're going to purchase this because it has excellent corruption resistance, and if you don't have the DLC items, it's going to have the highest level of corruption resistance you have. So we're not going to be using any DLC items. I didn't even pick up those items from the donation box, so we'll be able to follow along and do everything I do. So we're going to go to the Impetus repository, go ahead and level up. We're going to have 3 additional points, so we're doing pretty good on this side of things. We could get a little bit more love for the axe, of course. We do want to reach a somewhere that's going to give us some additional stamina, so that's not bad to go here. Eventually, what we want to do though is after, I'd say this is okay, but after this, we're going to definitely want to go here and start leveling even further, expanding these out. They're going to give us a little bit more diversity in our moveset and synergy with the Skyborn Might that we're racking up. So we definitely want to focus on that. But we're good for now. We want to make sure our weapons are nice and strong. And what we're going to be going and doing is going and entering the dream. When we enter the dream, the NPCs that have kind of progressed their side quests are going to move to the next location. So Leenzee Wuchang did mention he was going to Reverent Temple, so now he's gone. So if you need to know where they go or how to progress the quest further, you can always teleport and be, oh, okay, I could go here and take a look, right? So we are going to be actually heading towards Reverent Temple to speak with these individuals here and progress their side quests further as well. And then we're going to return to Shoe Sanctum and prepare for our journey to clear out the rest of the area and take out the second boss. The second boss of Shoe Sanctum is a little bit more difficult, but also has her fair share of weaknesses. So we have Jianhu, who is, pretty stoic as usual. We have Yu Shua, and she's going to ask that we, if we have any word from Shoe Sanctum. We can hand over the bloodstained letter that was written by Hong Lan, and we can say, I do not. She's going to give us a pendant, This pendant here is going to reduce the damage that we take, but increase our stamina usage. So right now, that's not really ideal, not something we really want to use. We don't want to penalize our stamina. Our stamina is already pretty low as it is. But always make sure that you exhaust the dialogue. We're going to run back here towards the individuals that were sick in the tents. And so she's still coughing, but if you speak with this individual, then we get the faint red feather. This is an item that's quite easy to miss, but as soon as we know that Shu Sanctum's is in just as bad shape as the rest of this area, he pretty much gives up and gives us the faint red feather. We now have sufficient amount of feathers to level up another time, but we'll do that in just a moment, so we can bump up our weapon and increase its strength even further. There's the donation box. We're going to go opposite of the donation box and speak with Xuanyangji. But before we do that, we can speak with Nian Suichang, which is the brother of Chao Lin, which is down there on his back.
Huh? Ma'am, thanks to that thing, I must say,
So,
they took care of my brother.
Nian Suichang gave the mercurial blood over to the Taoist so he could use it as medicine for his brother. We're going to get some Kong wine, which is another consumable item that we probably won't be using much, but it does give you full health and increase your frostbite duration. So it's not a bad thing. You actually get tons of this throughout, but I just typically don't use a lot of the items because I love hoarding them. I am a collector to a fault. But I'll show you guys the uses of them, of course. So we can speak with Xuanyangji, which is right here. He's happy that Chao Lin is healed, but he wishes he could have studied the mercurial blood a little bit more. So he's gonna give us some red mercury. And now we've exhausted the dialogue for these three individuals. There were three icons, so we spoke with Yu Shua downstairs, Nian Suichang, and Xuanyangzi. So everybody's been chatted to and with, and they should be happy. And we also spoke with the individuals near the tents to get that faint red feather. That one's really easy to miss. I was able to obtain it on all my playthroughs, but apparently that's something a lot of people miss. So when we go here, we can go to the Impetus repository again, and depending on what you want to do, you can upgrade your axe, or you can upgrade your longsword. The longsword, in my opinion, is going to be something that we use a little bit more frequently, and you can even purchase certain faint red feathers at certain points with Wukong, and we'll be doing that when we expand his inventory so that we can upgrade both weapons evenly. But whatever weapon you favor, you know, that's the one you want to upgrade the most, and if not, then just evenly upgrade them. But in either case, you will have enough materials by the end of this playthrough to max out 2 weapons, so you're going to be in great shape. So what we're going to do now is teleport, and you can see now that the icons near the Reverend Temple are gone, so that means we did the right thing. So we can return to Shu's Sanctum and get ready for our little area here, the next area, which is quite a sprawling area. It's going to take us to the secondary area and second half of Shu Sanctum, which is kind of like where the villagers live and different courtyards. So we'll be making our way there in the next episode. So I want to say thank you all so much for joining me in episode 2 of the Ultimate 100% Guide for Wuchang Fallen Feathers. Join me in the next episode, and I'll be there to guide you when you guys arrive. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to like and subscribe. It lets me know you want more content just like this and helps me out a ton as a full-time content creator. I really appreciate it. So be sure to see me in the next episode, and we'll guide you through the remainder of Shu Sanctum. Thank you so much for being the best part of my channel, and until next time, it's the Inhuman one signing out.